Good evening and welcome to another live stream from a home in Italy. Isn't this fantastic? This is 2 weeks on the row. I've not cancelled to say that I can't do it for some strange reason. Things are looking up for 2025, aren't they? So, what a show we've got for you tonight, because this is one of my favourites, because we actually talk about ourselves, which I quite like doing every now and then. But we're going to talk about our services again, and we're going to introduce you later on in the show, so make sure you stay tuned. Introduce you to somebody new who we're going to be working a lot with. Enrica's coming on later to introduce herself, and I'll be telling you how she's going to help you guys as well as us dealing with a certain part of our business that we had to drop off, should we say, for the last 6 months, and it's now coming back big style. So really looking forward to introducing her to you as well. And we're going to talk about a little bit, because people still get confused on what we actually do. I know most of you know by now, but I want to try and get it clear in people's minds when they're actually sat at home, as you are now, thinking about what you want to do, whether you're ready now, whether you're going to be ready in a year. How can we help you? That's what I want to talk to you a little bit about today. So, yeah, let us know where you are in the world. Write in the chat box. Tell us. I like to make sure that, because, Tony, I can't see any numbers again, so it looks like I'm talking to myself, but clearly people are on there, because I can see people chatting. So that's tonight's live stream, how we can help you find and buy a home in Italy. And as I said, make sure you stay tuned all the way through, because later on we will be introducing our new partner. Okay, what else have we got? We've got, I'm afraid, the gruesome twosome are only a gruesome onesome tonight. Is that a word? Wansome, is it? Tonight, because we just have Tony's tongue-twisting trial. Yeah. This should be a good one. Domenico is once again, he's let me down again. His son's playing football, so I will let him off, but he can't do the English part. So we're going to see how good you guys are, and we're going to see if anybody's actually using Google or something like that, because you're going to try and guess it just with Tony's delightful Italian pronunciations. We've also got, what else have we got? We've got stunning photos. And then obviously we've got us talking about us. So there you go. What else have I got to say? Let's talk a little bit about the tours to start with, because there is an update on that. I've added a couple of extra seats on the May tours. So you'll see March is sold out still. I think I've got a couple of people on the waiting list for March. If there are any cancellations, or if we can add some people on, I will. Then we have the 8th and 9th of May. There's 12 spaces left on that, because I managed to add some extra ones on. And May the 29th and 30th, we've managed to get a few more spaces on that, because we've had some people that have moved on to September. And with that in mind, Tony's just taken that little ticker off at the bottom, because I was hoping that was going to sort of tie into, he's got this puzzle look. There he goes. Look. All runs smoothly, doesn't it? So modern technology is just amazing. But we've actually confirmed the autumn 2025 date. So they are September the 25th and 26th, October the 23rd and 24th, and November the 6th and 7th. Obviously, they're the main tour days. We are going to speak a little bit about the tours a little bit later in the show on the Thursday and Friday, but we do get together on the Wednesday. Now, I'm going to have these up and running on the website for you to be able to book. By the end of next week, I will have those on there. But they are confirmed dates: September 25th and 26th, October 23rd and 24th, and November the 6th and 7th. But for now, if you want to come before then, May tours, jump on one of those. Should be a fantastic one. May's a great time of year. We would like to keep them going into June, but to be honest with you, it gets too hot to be jumping on and off buses and running up and down 50 flights of stairs to show you properties, and so it can get a little bit demanding. So we tend to stop them in May time and restart them again in September. Okay, what else have I got to say? I've got to say, where is it? Tony, I'm losing all my, I bet that's the one that you deleted earlier. Anyway, no, it isn't. Here we go. Remember, if you're looking to rent a property here in Abruzzo, then get in touch with our friends over at rentinabruzzo@gmail.com. That's also their YouTube page on their youtube.com/@rentinabruzzo, where you can see the properties that they have available for rent, and they have properties in Sulmona, Raiano, Palombaro. Great selection if you're looking just for short-term rent, but also if you're looking to come over for the year, and you're maybe wanting to get your visa, something like that. Then they will help you with the application as well for the visa, because they've already gone through it themselves, and they'll also help you register the contract and that kind of thing, so you can actually use the 12 months rental agreement to go for your visa. So if you're interested in that, contact them at rentinabruzzo.com. That was a quick one. I think that's it, Tony. I think it's shall we do let's do stunning photo of the week. I quite like this one. This well, there's actually two of them, and the person who did this is me. So I know that's cheating a little bit, but we went to Introdacqua last week because I filmed a property there, which will be coming up in 2 weeks. A fantastic property, and by the way, this Saturday's property, just like last Saturday's property was amazing, don't you think? Absolutely stunning beyond belief. At 67,000 all in, and included all the furniture as well, which I found out today. But people were quick off the mark on that one, big style. And this Saturday is going to be another good one. And I'll tell you why you should be joining our Patreon pages as well shortly to get a sneak peek on all of these properties. But look out for that Saturday at 3 p.m. Fantastic property in Vittorito, so you'll be neighbours with Domenico, and it's got an amazing roof terrace on this one as well. So yeah, let's do something. I don't know why I suddenly got onto that. Oh yeah, Introdacqua. I was in Introdacqua, and there was a palace that it is a palazzo, palace, that we filmed there quite a while ago. And as I went into the town, you could see the windows were open, and I thought, I didn't realise that the owners were, because they'd never really seen. I can't remember if they had seen it or maybe seen it before, but they came back. I didn't realise they'd come back. I saw all the windows open, and we don't have problems with squatters and things like that. But when I see windows open and lights on, I'm thinking. So I made a quick call to Silvana to find out if they were actually in town. And just at that point, they came out onto their balcony, dressed like this, which I think is fantastic. So they got full head to toe plastic coverings, so they could paint their incredible palazzo, and it really is an amazing place. So a big shout out to Alex and Trudy. It is such, when we do this job, and it is a job to a certain extent. Obviously, we have to earn a living and blah 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 blah. But we get so much satisfaction when people come out and they really start enjoying and living their dream, so to speak. And it was just great to see them both. And let me show you the next picture as well that shows you the size of this property. It's a 3-story, but obviously it's quite a wide property. I don't know if any of you remember it from the video channel, but it was just brilliant to see them both there, full of smiles and everything else. So yeah, fantastic. Hopefully they're going to come on as Meet the Home Buyers, because I think now they've been here. Problem is where they live in the world is a little bit difficult time-wise. I find this quite a lot with people that have bought, so I don't always get chance to interview the people I want to, just because the time zone doesn't work out. So that's the stunning photo of the week. Before we get started on us, I suppose it's that time, is it? It is. Let's bring him on. And I will say, he was on earlier and he was eating pizza, which is not a pretty sight when somebody's eating, and very unprofessional as well. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I've got to sort of say thank you to my neighbours who rang the doorbell and presented a homemade pizza to us.
That's very kind. That's just the Italian way, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Thanks for saving me some anyway. So you're on your own tonight.
Billa's eaten most of it.
You're on your own tonight.
Oh no!
It's going to be a tough one.
Again, has he?
Yeah, he's let us down again. We're going to see how good people are. So anybody that's watching for the first time, this is that magic moment where Tony's Italian, what can I say, language skills will be put to the test.
And I won't tell him. Google Translate ain't gonna help.
No, no. If they get this week, then there's something I'm missing. Definitely. So anybody that for the first time, Tony is going to say a phrase in Italian. Then usually at the end of the show, Domenico will then come on and say the same phrase in English, and you've got to guess. Unfortunately, Domenico's not here, so Tony's going to have a double whammy. You're not going to say it in English. They probably won't understand you, even if you said it in English anyway, from the with your accent where you're from. So he's going to say it in Italian, and you've got to guess the film. Now, as we've got to get into character, because remember, this week we know what it is this Friday, don't you? Did you remember?
No, what is it? What have I forgotten?
It's February.
Oh,
February.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ludmilla's getting the same as last year then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we got our present together last year.
Yeah. What was that?
Pacentro.
Well, what did you do? Go and see Pete?
We got flowers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah. Well, that was my idea. No. Let's rephrase this. I got a nice bunch of flowers for my wife. You tried getting freebies, and that didn't work. If I remember rightly, Domenico spent even less than you. If I remember rightly, I think she got a petal and a bit of a green stem. I forgot about that. There you go. Anyway, yes, it's the week of lovers. So this week the film is That Way On. I'm only giving that as a clue. I've sent you the thing already, Tom. So when you're ready, give us your. Are you ready?
Oh my God!
We should have got Pacentro Pete on today since our Domenico went on there. Brought him on as well. Oh well, not to worry. Next time. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Go for it.
C'erano 1 milione di piccole cose che quando le sommave tutti significavano che avremmo dovuto stare insieme e lo sapevo.
Not bad. What we'll do is we'll ask Enrica to judge it later when you come up for round 2. Just look at the way the comma. Did I put any commas in it?
You put. I think you got significant.
No. That's what you're. It's the plural thing. No, it's right.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
That threw me. Whoa.
What? Just that?
Yeah.
We'll see you later. Is this Italian getting any better, ladies and gentlemen? Is it? I mean, he's only been here 40 years. It should be getting better, shouldn't it, by now? Surely. Anyway, okay. Salma is saying, remember to click the like button, everybody. Yes, please do. Click the like. Apparently that really helps. But there you go. Click the like button. Okay, are we ready to get started on tonight's subject? That's taken me 15 minutes, that intro. That's dragging it on a little bit too long, isn't it? So apologies to Enrica, who I can see in a tiny screen. She's sat waiting to come on. Okay, so let's start. Let's go to the basics of what we can do for you. Let's go to the basics of who we are for those of you who don't know. The first thing is what we're not, and we are not estate agents. I have this conversation with so many people, and I also get some estate agents in the area that like to sort of jump on and say, you shouldn't be doing this because you're not estate agents, and blah, 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 blah. Let's make it really clear. We are not estate agents. That I'd never confessed to be an estate agent. I've been part of an estate agency, and we were part of it for many, many years. And we decided to change and go down the line that we do because it makes us a little bit more flexible when it comes to helping you guys. So what do I mean by that? First of all, an estate agent needs to be registered as an estate agent or a mediator. What we do is we work with other estate agents, and the reason for that is because we can be a little bit more flexible. We had how many years? 50, no. I've been doing this 18, 19 years, so probably 12 years with an estate agency that myself and my wife, Silvana, we were the founding members of that estate agency. and together with 5 partners, and it was fantastic. And we were part of the estate agency is still going. Obviously, we're not part of that anymore, but it is still going. And but for me, I wanted to be able to help people even if they don't find a house with us. That was a big thing for us. I wanted to be able to, or we wanted to be able to help people as well in different areas, because we were quite localized. The estate agency tend to be quite localized, which is fine if you're going to have a traditional sort of estate agency. What I was finding was we were getting to know people really well, especially in the early days. People were coming out. Myself and my wife Silvana used to take clients around. We used to get such a good relationship with people. And then it was awful to see them go if you didn't have what they wanted, or maybe they wanted to be in a different area. So we wanted to get around that. And for us, yes, we could do the course to become estate agents, but the way we work, which you'll understand as we go through it tonight, we don't have the time to do that, because we need to be really focused on getting the best properties and really focused on narrowing things down. Whereas an estate agent, quite rightly so, takes on whatever comes to them, because that's right to do that as well. There's a house for everybody. And if somebody walks into an estate agent and said, I want to sell my house, it's not particularly nice if that estate agent turns around and says, no, it's horrible, or no, it's not in my location, or no, it's so that's their job to have to deal with that. And to give you an example of that, and you will find this yourselves as well, is if you contact estate agents or you come out to view properties, there could be 200, 300, 400 houses on their website, but the reality is they don't always have 200, 300, 400, 500. A lot of those properties could miraculously have been sold from the time when you contacted them to coming out here, or they're just not properties that nobody can service 200, 300 houses. It just can't be done. You can't physically see them, see the houses enough. In one day, you just can't do it. So it's very difficult to service that amount of properties. So what do we, why are we different? Why is it important for you? So first of all, what we expect from our agents, what we expect is, first of all, for them to find some fantastic properties. I also go out myself finding properties with them, and we expect that they will not charge you a commission, because the way it works here in Italy is estate agents, quite rightly so, charge a commission, but they charge to the buyer and the seller. So it's a double commission payment that they get, which fine, that's the way it is here, and we have to accept that. The estate agents that work with us, we make it part of the deal that they do not charge you. And this is for people that work with us, or we work closely with. And there is 4 agents that we work a lot with. 2 are our main agents, and probably the main one is Domenico, that you know. There's also Claudio on this side of the mountain as well. They're the main 2. Then there's another 2 that we work a reasonable amount with, and then there's a number of others that we work occasionally with. So obviously not all estate agents want to work with us, because they don't want to give up half of their commissions, and that's fine. We work with agents that we feel are in the areas where we want to be, where we want to help you buy and to put you, basically. Now, I've driven the length and breadth of Abruzzo and narrowed it down to areas where I am happy to say to you, in my opinion, only my opinion, that these are the best areas for properties and the best areas in general. And I think everybody knows now, we've done enough of the Abruzzo live streams for people to know what my favorite places are. That's not saying that other places are horrible, and that's not saying that there's no fantastic properties in other places, because there is 100%. But we don't have the time to do that. We have the time to concentrate what we think's the best, and then pass that on to you. We also have, but I've written on this. Why won't it come on now, Tony? Oh, here we go. So how our main agents work, what they do for us. So the main agents that we do, I'd say that there is 2. We probably deal with 10 in total, but there's 2 we class as our main ones, who are in our main areas. And what we do, we get a lot of phone calls that come into our office from people that want to sell properties, because obviously they know the kind of publicity that we do. And then we pass those out to our agents, So they could go out and see Domenico and Claudio are both out most days viewing properties, and we'll send them to certain places. And they also have their own people that contact them and say that they've got houses for sale and the rest of it. What they will then do is they will go out and see the property and see if it is the kind of thing that we would be interested in filming, or we would be interested in taking tours, or the other thing, which is Patreon, which I'm going to go through shortly. They will then send details of that to me in photographs and video form so we can have a look. And the reason why we do that is, again, it's impossible. If we had to go out of the office every day to go and view properties, I've done it for so many years. It takes so long. It takes so much out of your day, and you can have appointments to see 20 houses that you may be able to do 4 or 5 a day, depending where they are. And out of that 20, you may end up with 2 that, in our opinion, are decent enough properties to make it onto the channel. When we say that, we don't just look at what the property is like. We look at the price, we look at the location. Everything like that is important, and I think we're pretty good at getting these areas narrowed down. And touch wood, I've not had anybody that's come yet and said, "Oh my word, what have you sold us here? Let's get rid of it." That has not happened. So it is something that we take quite personal, because it's important for us to know that it's a great property. As well, moving to Italy to retire, it would be helpful if you can say if the property is in 7% tax comune. I will start mentioning that on the videos, Lisa. I think what it is the vast majority of places, there's only really Sulmona where we film that doesn't become part of the 7%. Everywhere else on the videos, sorry, Sulmona and Chieti, I've done one video in Chieti, but the rest of them come under the 7%. So I probably take it for granted that everybody knows, but you are right in saying that. So moving on to the next slide, what makes us different? This is what I was going back to saying before about us hand selecting properties. So I feel that we select the best properties, we get the best prices, and in my opinion, the best locations. When I say less bulk and more quality, it is down to that. When we had the estate agency before, it was all about as many properties as you could get on the website as possible. That's what it was all about, because people were attracted to agents that had 200, 300, 400 properties. And to me, that it's wrong now. Being in the business long enough now to see through all of that and realize that that's not what it's all about, because you just can't see them all. They can't be serviced. Probably a huge amount's not for sale, and it's not, in my opinion, it's not the right way to go about looking for a property. And when I put we actually make it happen, and sorry, Tony, if I can just mention, I can't see any numbers. If you could just let me know. For some reason, I can't. Oh, you can't see them either. Oh, he's got a strange look on his face. Okay. When I say we actually make it happen, what I mean by that is there are other video channels out there, which is great because it's all doing the same thing. It's all publishing this incredible area and some are outside of the areas. And I mentioned before that not that you have to be careful when you do, you just need to be able to follow it through. We follow it through. We because the team that we've got, and this team that comes under the umbrella of a home in Italy, it's not a company made up of all these people. Everybody is individual. Even myself and my wife, I have my own VAT number. My wife has her own VAT number. Our daughter also has a VAT number. Our son is going to be joining the business in round about June time. Will have his own VAT number. And then we deal with the estate agents. They have their own VAT numbers and their own company numbers. That goes for Claudio, that goes for Domenico. Then we have, who we'll be introducing later, Enrico. We all have our individual parti IVAs, as we call it. That goes for the geometers. We deal with 4 geometers. We have notary. Everybody's completely separate. But what we do as a home in Italy, so when I say we, when sort of myself and my wife do, we get everybody together that makes it possible for all of this to happen. And you just get charged one price for all of that to happen. And then we are left then to liaise with everybody to make it happen, because we're not notaries, we're not geometers, we're not estate agents. What we're actually registered is consultants, and what we overseas property consultants. And we have the expertise through the years of experience that we have, which now is over 20 years, But it's all about getting all these people together that all work really well together. You've seen even the currency exchange guy, David, who came to see us last week. They all work in the same way, and we expect that from everybody. Because if not, sounds big-headed and horrible to say, we'll move on to the next, because there has to be that level where you can trust each other. Because if not, it's a nightmare. It's great that we're not all in one company and not all under each other's feet and telling each other what to do and all the rest of it. Everybody has their own separate thing, and everybody is working for the same cause, and we all have a very similar way of doing business. And that for us is the most important thing. That's what took so long to set this different type of company up, if you like, or this different setup. That's why it took us so long. And that's why sometimes it's actually difficult to explain what we actually do. And I think some people as well, the way we get emails, people are still not quite sure, how can you help me? And we get so many emails that will say, we really want to move to Italy in a year's time. And you might be sat at home now saying, yeah, that's us. We want to move to Italy in a year's time. We really want to strike up a relationship with you, so we know we're ready. We want to use you, which is fantastic when people speak like that. And we need to get the ball rolling. When can we speak? When can we do it? And we understand all of that. But tonight we're going to explain why we can't always speak, and the best way for us to have a relationship to get to where you need to be in the end. The reason why I say we can't always speak is because phone calls tend to take up half an hour to an hour, which is fine when people are obviously telling you what they want, what they're looking for, and all the rest of it. But it's actually no good to you. To a certain extent, it's no good to us at this stage, because you may be a year away from buying and the properties will change and all the rest and everything else. But again, we can't physically do it. And what we don't want is a team of telesales people saying, okay, yeah, you want a house? Yeah, okay. Do you want a pool? Yeah, okay. You want a pool? Do you want a garden? Yeah, you want a garden. You want a garage? Yeah. And then that gets into a filing system, and off you go. Some people will say, can we employ you to look for a property for us? It's fantastic that people want to do things like that. But the problem is if you've asked me to find you a property up to 100K in Sulmona, and you want to be near to the main piazza, for instance, if we get another 10 people like that, who do I ring first? Who's going to take my priority? If I've taken money from every one of these people who are saying, will you be our property finder? Will you go boots on the ground and find us something? How do we manage that? It's not possible unless you've got 10 different people. We'd have to have one client per person. It just can't be done. So the system that we created is done in a slightly different way, and it's using these four things. Let me just read this question first. Tim saying, I think my concerns with most properties shown, you notice Tony takes it off just as I'm reading it. I think my main concern with most properties shown always boil down to a few main issues. Is the roof truly sound? Which walls can or cannot be moved? Exactly how hard is it to obtain a property? Well, it's not difficult to purchase a property at all. But if you are concerned about roofs and things like that, you have to pay a surveyor. But even still, they're not going to climb up on the roof. It's a tough one here. I mean, we do talk about this on other live streams, but a lot of it you have to see with your own eyes. And if you're buying old properties, unless it's stated that the roof has been redone, obviously it's going to be old. But if it's gone through winter and there's no signs of any water, you have to do it in that way. And if it's really concerning to you, then you have to get an engineer to come out and look. And if you can get somebody onto the roof, but very rarely they'll go onto the roof. It's the same in the UK. Nobody would climb up on the roof to see the state. And same with the foundations. Nobody will dig down in there. So there is a few unknowns there. And obviously older properties, they're always going to need some sort of work as you go along. But again, if people are being fair with you, when I'm walking around properties, if I see any sign, you'll see it on all the videos, any sign of any water coming in, something might escape me from when I video it afterwards. But if I see any telltale signs, then we find out what it is, find out what the problem is, and let people know. Because at the end of the day, these problems can all be resolved. So it should be a concern, but not a huge thing. And as far as buying the property, that's the easy part. So the main services that we've got: YouTube, the YouTube channel, Patreon, tours, and Lean on Me. And Lean on Me is when we start talking about that, is when I want to bring Enrica on, because she's gonna introduce herself, because she's going to be taking over this side of it. Obviously, the YouTube channel, you all know, you sat here watching it. Some of you may be on Facebook, but some of you will also be sat watching it on YouTube. The YouTube is a huge part of our business. The video properties are a massive part. And currently we do them every Saturday. And the reason why we don't do more of them is because, again, to manage that is very difficult, because the Saturday properties were, last year I think we were around about between 87 and 89% of the ones that went on the Saturday properties sold. Then there's the normal sales from tours and all the rest of it. There's only so many that we can do throughout the year, and we have to be sort of quite specific with the ones that go onto YouTube. Then we have Patreon. Patreon is a huge thing. I'm going to go through a little bit of that shortly. And Patreon is for if you're ready to buy. Patreon and the tours both together. They're when things start getting a bit more serious. I'm going to go into that in a second. And then we've got the Lean on Me. Lean on Me is for those people that they want to deal with us. They want us to be part of something, but they found a property with somebody else. And I'm going to go through that because that's a big part of what I'm going to finish the last half of the show about. And obviously we're going to get Enrica on as well, so she can introduce herself. So we split our clients, and we'd like you to split yourselves into this way as well. So we've got browsers and ready to goers. Ready to goers. You know, I wish I would have done better in my English. I actually wrote ready to go, didn't I? I didn't write ready to goers. Well, there you go. Anyway, browsers and ready to go. And you need to decide yourself where you are at between these two things. So for me, if you are just browsing and you're looking maybe for a year's time, maybe it's for 2 years' time, maybe it's 8 months, 9 months, whenever it is, no rush, then you don't need to do anything else other than watch these shows, keep in touch, see what other people are doing, find out about how things work, how the documents work when we do the more boring type stuff, you know, when we have to talk documents and all the rest of it. Keep in touch with us by staying on these things, by being on the chat and chat with other people. The Saturday videos, obviously they come out. Keep an eye on the market. Have a look to see if you see any changes in the market. If you think, well, a couple of years ago, these properties seem to be like this and now they're like this, try and get to know the kind of property. Because again, lots of people do it, and lots of people send me emails, really long emails, getting everything off their chest, what they think they want. And it's great we get emails like that. But to be honest with you, things will change when you come out. And so you have to be a little bit more open-minded almost. And Robert's saying the tour, Tony's done it to me again, hasn't it? The tour made the difference for us. And that's a huge thing, because not everybody wants to remote buy. Lots of people do. But lots of people want to come to the area first and check the area and see what it's like, and then possibly remote buy afterwards. So they're all different people. But if you're a browser, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And we're happy for you browsers to be watching this. We even have people watching this that have no intention of buying with us and maybe already bought with somebody else. So that's fine. That's fine. I should have had dreamers. That's I'm 5 years out. I'm more of a dreamer. Brian, that's fine. It's no problem. Again, the fact that you're watching this show is all a help. And I would say the Tuesday Lives, definitely. The website, keep looking at the website, and Possible Tour. I wrote Possible Tour because if this is something that you're constantly watching us and thinking, I want to do this in a couple of years' time, the tour's a great way to say, look, rather than watching Dave every week, because he's starting to annoy me now, let's see if this area that he keeps talking about is as good as what it is, and let's go and see the area. And sometimes people come out on tours and they've no intentions of buying for years. That's fine. That's what the tours are for as well. And but that is something more for yourself to say, should I be investing more time with this person that's talking to me every week? And the only way to know that is by coming to the area and then coming back and saying, actually, yes, I may be 5 years off, I may be 10 years off, but wow, what a place that is. And that's a great stage to be at. Then we've got the ready to goers. Where I would suggest this is where Patreon comes into it. Patreon is huge for us. And the tours, definitely. and the lean on me if you're already at a certain stage. I'm going to do the lean on me very quickly, soon, in a few minutes. We're going to talk more about lean on me. Let me just, Tony's leaving this up longer, so he's changed it now. Tony, we're just not together. Let me bring him back up. What's happening tonight, Tone? Huh? Every time I go, every time I try and read when you're taking it off, are you still eating pizza?
Well, it looked like he was going to move on, so I took it off.
I know, but then when you leave questions on there longer, then I think, oh, he wants me to read this one, and then you take it off. All right, thanks. You can tell we're synchronizing well. So yeah, the Patreon, the tour, and the lead on me. So Patreon, what is this thing with Patreon? What Patreon does, the other thing that when we receive the properties from our agents, we have to look at them and we look at a video. I get them to send a video just so we can see if it's something that we think is really interesting. Then we'll go out and do a proper video and all the rest of it. Some of those don't make it, not because that they're not very good properties, but I may have to choose between 3 or 4 really great properties, and let's say that we've already shown 2 in Palombaro, and let's say that we've seen. We've had 2 lots in Palombaro, and I've seen another great house in Palombaro, but I don't want to do 3 on the trot, as we say. But there's a new one in Vittorito, so let's mix it up a little bit. So sometimes what happens then is the one in Palombaro or the one in another area doesn't make it to the channel, and then it starts to snowball, and you get other properties coming in, and the weather changes, and this happens and that happens. So what happens then is those properties, they don't get shelved, but they do get left behind a little bit. Whereas Patreon, we've started doing it, and we're going to be doing it more and more soon. The agents have been instructed to do more videos. And Tony's pointing to a question. I'll come to it in a second. I'm talking now. So they're being instructed to do more videos, because what Patreon then does is gives us an outlet for people to say, okay, look, these properties are available. I've not done a video property of it. I've not done a video of it yet, but Domenico's done a video, or Claudio's done a video. Here it is. Have a look. Here's the price. Let me know what you think. And if people really love that, we can then go and do a video and get. So Patreon people get those extra properties. Now I can hear you saying, why don't you just put those on the site? Why don't you do that? Why don't you? And I can understand that. But again, then it turns us into estate agents again, and we don't want to do that. Patreon group is there for people that are ready to buy and are ready to do it quickly. And it's our commitment back to them to say, okay, people pay €14 a month, which is not a lot of money, but they pay €14 a month to come on onto Patreon. We have a chat group on there. You get to see the Saturday properties a day or two days earlier than everybody else, and you also get to see these other properties. And that's our commitment to people, to say, okay, if you're just browsing, we've got all of this for you. We'll give you, these are free of charge, these that we do on a Tuesday night, obviously. The website's there, everything's there. You're not quite ready yet. The people that are really ready and really want to be ready to jump on something, take that next leap up to Patreon and the tours, because the tours, sometimes you see things that's not even made it onto Patreon because we might have just got it. The last tour we did, there was about 5 properties that we got literally 2 days before the tours. So this is why we have these different things for people then to jump on and use, if you like, because they're slightly ahead of somebody else. Not because, it sounds awful to say that, but they're ready. They're ready. If you're not ready for 6, 8, 9, 10 months, there's no point you stressing out if you miss out on a video property, because there'll be something available when it's your time round. But in the same breath, if you're saying to me, Dave, we're ready, we're good to go, we want to buy something in the next couple of months, I need to be part of something that's going to show me these properties, that's where Patreon comes in. And whether you're a subscriber for 1 month or 12 months, and it's been very successful because there's been lots of people that joined Patreon and bought from things that's gone on Patreon, and then they've remained on there as well, which is fantastic. Tony wants me to read this question, and I'm going to bring Enrica on next, because if not, she's been sat there very patient. I said it'd be about half an hour, and I'm on 40 minutes now. James, hi Dave. My wife and I are looking at moving from the UK to Italy with 3 children. Would you say Abruzzo is a great place to move with a young family from the UK? 100% yes. That's exactly what we did, James. without any shadow of a doubt, it's the best thing that we did. And the kids growing up in this kind of place, obviously, I don't know how old your kids are, but what a place to come with children. James, if you want to get in touch, and you can email us at info@homeinitaly.com and let us know what you're thinking of doing it. Obviously, if you're bringing kids over, slightly different, but yeah, we didn't regret it at all. Okay, I'm now getting conscious that Enrica has been very patient, and you're wondering who she is. So let's quickly start talking about Lean on Me, and then I can bring Enrica in then. So I'll quickly read this from Brad. We saw the video property and fell in love with it, but then once we actually saw it in person, we knew we had made the right decision. Thanks to Dave Silvano and Claudia for making our dreams come true. Brad, you're a star. Very fair. That's Bomber Brad, everybody. No, have I got the right? Have I got the right? It is, but yeah, it is Bomber Brad. I've got two Brads. Okay, so quickly, Lean on Me. So this is help with a property purchase, power of attorney, residency. You're probably thinking, what on earth, David? We know you help with properties. But this is, let's say, for instance, you've been out to Italy. You've gone round some towns. You've seen some signs that says Vendici, but there's no estate agent. There's just a telephone number. And you've managed to see the property, or maybe you want us to contact them to get you in. These are private sellers. You love a property. You've done the deal with the owner, and it happens all the time. And then you think, now what? This service is for you, the Lean on Me service. It is mainly in Abruzzo, but we do offer it all over Italy. More so once you've made if it's other parts of Italy, then you need to already be at a certain stage where you've made the offer to the estate agent, or you've got a good relationship with the owner, you've seen the property, 100% you want to go ahead, then we can help. And that's what the Lean on Me service does. It also does if you're buying with another agent. Let's say you're buying with another agent, but they're not very responsive, or skills are just lacking a little bit, which is no disrespect to anybody, but when it comes to something as important as a property purchase, language is important. We've got to speak this. We've got to speak a language that we all understand. We can also help with power of attorney. Maybe you want us to look after everything and just say, look, I found this property with another estate agent. They're not responding to me, or they're responding, but can you just sort it all out? We get that a lot. And we can also help with things like residency as well. So the Lean on Me service, the way this works out, if that's you, if you are looking with other agents, maybe you found something, but you just think, I need that extra. We're not lawyers. We can't give you legal advice, but we've got years and years of experience, and we know what it takes to get property sales over the line. So you email us. We have a form online. If you go onto the services section and go onto Lean on Me, fill out the form online. Let us know where you are. Let us know what stage you're at. Have you seen the property? Have you spoken to the owners? Have you put an offer in? Is it with an estate agent? Is it with a private seller? And we will then pull it all together with all the people that we have. We'll pull it all together. And your first point of call after we've given you a quote for the services is then to have an online chat with Enrica. And now, finally, she's been so patient. I suppose I better introduce you to Enrica, and here she is. Good evening.
It's great to be joining you, Dave. Good evening.
You've been very patient, sat there for 45 minutes.
Doesn't matter. So.
And can I just say as well, you look very, very professional. You're making my office look terrible. It looks... and when we look at the state of Tony with his jumper on,
I have pizza.
Yeah,
That's just a bunch of crackers.
Yeah. Well, next time you come on, we'll get pizza. We'll all have pizza together.
Yes.
Okay.
For sure. So let's break the ice introducing me to myself.
Yeah.
My background in philosophy gave me the opportunity to become a campaign manager. Working in this field allowed me to identify my potential and strength. And then I did my MBA. After that, I worked for an international company based in Genoa. In 2018, my husband and I decided to get married. So I moved back to Abruzzo, my wonderful region. And I, as Sinatra said, the best is yet to come. So we had 2 children. as most of you probably know, I thought my work-life balance in a different perspective. So I start to provide services to support clients throughout the property buying process. And taking the advantage from the most valuable aspect of my previous career. So, and this is what Lean on Me is. So I will support foreign clients to buy a home in Italy. As you already mentioned, so we will be by your side along the way, along the process. So as they've already said, so after you fill the form and schedule an appointment, an online appointment with Dave and Silvana, we will work together. We will work together. So we don't have a standard procedure because we have to assess at what stage of the buying process you are. So I will be by your side as a trusted guide. So I will check documents. I will speak. For example, if you have a private seller, it doesn't speak English, so I will be there and speak with him at your behalf. So it would be very important to have a trusted guide with you in along each stage. And what I would like also to say, and after you it doesn't matter at what stage of your buying process you are. This is very important. If you have just find your dream home, or you already signed your preliminary contract and you would like to speed up the process, or you would like to check all the documents are correct, or the property documents are correct. So we will be there right there for you. This is very important day. I think that we have to underline this aspect. So we will be there for them along the way, and we will send update, or we'll check every aspect of the buying process.
You can tell that you're really enthusiastic about this now. I could have just disappeared then and had a slice of pizza with Tony. You could just take over, and that's absolutely fine. So the first thing I want to know, first of all, I remember your wedding. What a fantastic wedding it was as well. And where did you learn your English? Because it's very good.
Oh, thank you so much. I spent 6 months of my life in Canada, and then I studied part of my MBA in California. So I try to to keep my Italian accent hidden behind.
No, it's good. It's good. And this is the important thing, because obviously you know your way around the documents and all that kind of thing. And I know that. In fact, I don't know why we didn't start working together years ago, but there you go. But the language is so important, and it's great that you can communicate the way you do, and that's important for everybody that's looking as well. So, I mean, we were speaking earlier about that initial contact when people want to use the Lean on Me service and they speak to you. We were saying that people have got in touch with us at any stage. I mean, so we had somebody 2 weeks ago, and I mentioned this to you before, that were due to come out to sign within 2 weeks, and they'd no idea what they were signing. They'd no idea with the documents. They'd no idea there was some geometry involved, that they didn't know who this person was. And people do leave it while the last minute. So I think you would agree with me to say, if somebody is looking at the Lean on Me, don't get so far down the line and sign things, before you've spoken to us. I mean, what kind of things would you say? Obviously, when you do a document check, so when people contact you, what kind of thing are you going to be looking for?
This is very important, Dave, because I usually recommend to before to sign a preliminary contract to check the property documents in order to identify the property and the owner, and also the property is free from any legal complication, and also understand the legality of the property project. Checking those documents at the beginning of the process will speed up completely the entire process, because we can detect in advance any type of problems, so we can just move forward and see how can speed up and see what can we do later. So it's very important to check.
I mean, these kind of things, I mean, I know lots of people will say to me, and I should imagine there's people thinking it now, that, you know, this should be done by the estate agent. But in one sense, yes, there are certain things that estate agents should do and should get. I mean, I know the ones, before anybody starts worrying, the ones that's on our video channels, our agents are excellent and they will check things and all that. But there is, I think people sometimes use estate agents almost as lawyers, and really their job finishes at a certain stage, doesn't it? I mean, they take their commission, and quite rightly so, because their job is about advertising and I know there's standards that they have to get to, but there are other professionals that really people should be turning to instead of the estate agent. And I sometimes worry that people think the estate agents are going to do more than what they actually do, and that's certainly not putting them down, because they do a job, and the job they do is important.
For sure.
But this is where, if you're not sure, that they should be contacting us and using the Lean on Me service if they're not sure, because once you start signing, then there's no going back, and that's it's a huge thing. So for you personally, I know we've set this up pretty quickly, but because we've known each other years, and obviously you know Silvana years as well, the relationship's already there. We don't have to think about whether we can trust each other and how we work, because there's no question about anything like that. You're wanting that, and quite rightly so, you're going to decide how to move it forward once a client contacts you. Are you happy to have an online meeting like what we're doing now?
Yes, we can decide where together with the having a weekly update, or we can be at the end of the phone when they need us the most. So we can choose the perfect contact as they want, so we can decide together how we can proceed and which is the best choice according their purchase process. So is really can do in each case. We can decide what we can do. So yes, and dealing with thousands of property contracts, I have also understood that purchasing is not only a transaction, is a very life-changing moment. So this is very important, especially in Italy, where the house can be built by a grandfather. So the house is a symbol of a family. So it's also a very emotional and sometimes very stressed and overwhelmed moment for sellers and buyers. So I will be there to help and support in each stage.
I think the great thing as well, I mean, I know the work that you've done in the past has been mainly with Italian clients, hasn't it? And that's why, you know, we spoke and realized.
And I keep in touch with them also after they bought the property. So I help with the Italian bureaucracy, which is very, as you mentioned before, is very tough. So it will also a support after. So we keep in touch. We become like as you said, a family.
I think the great thing as well, if anybody is looking and they're buying from a private seller, they sometimes the private, because I do get people that say we found a property, it's through a private seller, there's no agent, but they don't speak any English. We've been doing it through Google Translate, and that happens a lot. And it's great that we have Google Translate, but I think even when a private seller gets to know that we're involved, it makes their life easier as well, because you could imagine, as you said, the Italian person, maybe it's the grandfather, maybe he's built the property, maybe 80, 90 years old. Here's somebody from the other side of the world calling them saying they want to, and it's almost like they need the Lean on Me package as well. But the good thing is, we don't see this as an opportunity to take money off them, because we don't charge them. What we do is help our clients get over the line, if you like, but it also helps the owners as well, because you know, especially you being Abruzzese as well. Were you originally from Abruzzo? I never did ask you.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
whereabouts?
From
From
Elice. It's a
Elice. Where your uncle lives. Yeah.
you have been.
Who makes the best bread? Anyway, we'll talk about that another day. We need to get your uncle on this one one day. He's fantastic. But yeah, I think it also helps the people, but especially when they're speaking to one of their own as well. It just makes the whole process work that little bit better.
Yeah.
So
And talking about, sorry if I interrupt you, and talking about a private seller, I remember when a private seller, she was in her 80s, at that time, a very nice old lady, and who intentionally left an old table made by her father in the house she was selling. It was very emotional. So buying a property in Italy is something that is very emotional. Is very all.
it is. We did a signing the other day, and I didn't realize. And a big shout out to Amy if she's watching. But when I did the video for this property, something hit me when I was in the kitchen. And I felt such a connection in this kitchen. And I'm not a spiritual person. I'm not this kind of sort of, but it was weird. And I mentioned it on the video, and anybody that looks back at the video and anybody that's seen it will remember, I got into this kitchen and it felt like being at my wife's nonna's when she was alive. And it really, really hit me. Even the kitchen was similar and everything was. So when we did the signing the other day, and I met her son, I knew her son very well. And I didn't realize, I didn't put two and two together, as we say, that the property owner was a lady, an elderly lady who we've known for years and years and years. And she was such an amazing character, an amazing person. And it was really emotional at the signing again, because the son didn't want to let go of the house, but he knew he had to, and it's sort of, and this again is sometimes when we come, us Brits are terrible for it, but I can imagine it's the same all over the world, where we really want to drive people down to get discounts off the house, and people will say, why are all these houses for sale? I always say to people that most Italian families don't want to get rid of their houses. In fact, I would say most nonnos and nonnas out there will say, no, we're not selling. No, we'll keep it. And people wonder why there's so many houses. And it's nothing to do with money. It's nothing to do with people fleeing the place. It's to do with this connection that people have. Yeah, and it's huge, isn't it? And it's difficult sometimes to explain in the modern world. It's sometimes difficult to explain that kind of mentality still exists, but that's Italy, isn't it? It's very emotional place, and especially when it comes to things like this. Okay, well, Enrica, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll definitely bring you on again sometime, and I'll give you more time than just the 10-15 minutes that we had. But at least people get to know you now, and you've said you're going to come on future ones, so they'll get to know you better. And anybody that is interested in the Lean On Me service, it's back up and running. We did have to stop it a few months ago. It's back up and running, and we'll all be involved in it. Obviously, Enrica will be taking over the major parts of that. And yeah, what can we say? Let's do it. Let's help these people find their dream place.
Yes, we will take care of the rest. Yes, for sure.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, well, we'll definitely have you on again in another few weeks' time, and I'll be speaking to you soon anyway. And what can we say? Thank you for coming on, and no doubt people are going to feel happier now that they've met you. We'll see you really soon. Yeah. Okay, folks. Well, there you go. That's a quick introduction, isn't it? Fantastic person. We've known Enrique for a number of years, and her husband, and I know she's going to be a huge asset, not to a home in Italy, because as I say, it's for you guys, another professional that is coming on board under this umbrella of a home in Italy, and wanting to help you get across the line. Angelique is saying, what about car ownership? It's important. Angelique, I think I've answered a few times. I mean, I will quickly say, you need to be a resident to own a car in Italy. It's as simple as that. You cannot buy a car unless you're resident. But we'll cover that if you come in the Q&A session. We will cover that. So as I say, yeah, thank you so much to Enrica, and she's going to be a great asset to what we're doing moving forward. And she will be on here a few more times just for you to get to know her, and just like myself, just like Silvana, just like everybody else that's part of this, we're all in it. It is a job, but we're all in it to get you to the to the same place. Oh, I forgot about that. It's his turn again now, isn't it? Tony, are you ready? What was this? Dave, this is a great, empathetic, caring perspective. This is so important so the Italians do not think we are aggressive, rude people. No, I agree with you. It is a tough one. It is a tough one because you have to be so respectful, and quite rightly so. People have just like in many other countries, people have sacrificed to get where they are, and especially people of the nonos ages of today. They've gone through the Second World War, which was horrendous here, and still managed to come out the other side and build properties for their families and things like that. And that's why the property market here is strange. Don't look at a place and think, oh, everything's for sale here, everything's abandoned. They're not abandoned. Some of them may be, but a lot of them are owned, and people don't want to always part with their properties. They think, no, we'll, especially the older generation, let's keep it because one of the kids may need it, one of the grandkids may need it. And when, it sounds horrible to say, but when the older generation start to disappear, that's when the kids, then reality hits, we can't keep this property and we need to sell. Anyway, Paul Villafranca, Enrica has unbelievable passion for this. I agree, yeah, and that's great. That's why myself and Silvana thought she was the right person to do this. I'm glad that some of you have already seen that. Okay, so where is he? Let's bring him back on. Did you enjoy that, Tony? Did you notice that Enrica was professional?
Yes, very.
Not like you.
No.
Eating your pizza and
No.
Did you notice all the lights in the background and the artwork and stuff like that? Usually at your place, you've got your
rubbish
up.
I have to clear all the piles of clothes off before I can actually do anything.
Okay, Tone. Let's see. Let me turn the chats on. I want to. If anybody gets this time, there is no way anybody is going to get this.
No
way. So Tony's going to say, just in Italian, we're missing Domenico. This somebody's actually said at least Tony has his tree down now. Oh, that's Troy, and Troy is a Tony fan. Okay, so Tony, you got to say this phrase in Italian, and remember, it's just for everybody to know. And I forgot the name of the film now. Oh yeah, I've remembered it. It is Valentine's week, so it is that kind of film. Tony, go for it.
Okay. C'erano 1 milione di piccole cose che, quando le sommave tutte, significavano che avremmo dovuto stare insieme, e lo sapevo.
That was a lot better than the first time. Is anybody going to get this? Is anybody? I'm waiting. There's no way. If nobody gets it, this means that everybody understands Domenico. And no, we've had Salma under the Tuscan sun. No, it's that. Am I going to win this week? Tony, this is bad for you. If nobody gets this is really bad for you. And it's not looking good. We've only had one person guess, Troy, and he's your mate as well. Troy is your biggest fan.
Yeah.
Under the Tuscan sun.
Troy, what are you doing to me?
I know. Nobody's got it. That's terrible. So it is Paul Villafranca, Love Bites. No, it's not that either. Looks like I've won, and
I used to have one of them at school.
Shocking behaviour. It's Lovers Week, Tone, this week. You know, we're not. You know, nobody's got it. Lewis is written Morrissey. He knows that I hate Morrissey. I probably shouldn't say that live, should I? But anyway, nobody's got it. Nobody's got it. We've still got another one, Love Actually. Nobody has got it. The title of the Bo.
Oh, Bo, yes.
He's got it.
Oh, Bo.
How,
What a
whoa, how
star.
did you get that? Oh no, Manette's got it. No, who was
Oh,
first?
Manette.
Was it Manette first? I think actually it was. I think it may have been Manette.
Manette was
Manette.
first on the list. Oh, Bo. But you're still the best, Bo.
Who's got it? Bo was second, was he?
Bo was second. Bo's
Manette was
on,
first.
yeah, Bo's on YouTube. Manette's on Facebook.
Well, we have to give a shared one. I can't
Yeah.
believe you got Manette. There's something. Tony, did you take? You've got Manette's telephone number. Did you text her? Oh no, you didn't know the. You didn't know the name of the film, did you?
No, I wouldn't know who it was. It's one of them
It
soppy
was Sleepless in Seattle. I can't believe Manette and Bo got that. I just cannot. Unbelievable. Well, there you go, Tony. There's a
Well done, Manette.
glimmer of hope for your
Bo.
future living in Italy and speaking amongst the locals.
Yes.
There's a
See?
slight glimmer of hope.
Yeah. Only a very slight glimmer of hope.
but it's more than what it was last week. Catch you later.
See you later.
Oh well, folks, there you go. I still can't believe Manette and Bo. There's something is going against me. I cannot believe that you got that. Anyway, there you go. Thank you so much for joining us again. Bit of fun, wasn't it? We've got other people. Oh no, that's Bo, isn't it? Saying unbelievable. There's definitely something going against me. Thank you so much for joining us again. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gives you a little bit more of an insight of how we can help you. I really do believe that look at the list that I mentioned to you before. Are you a browser or are you ready to go? And that will determine the road you need to go down. And both are looked on exactly upon the same. So if you are just browsing, that's fine. Stay on these programs. Write some things in the comments. Go onto our Facebook page. Look at the website. Look at the videos that come on a Saturday. That's all fun. Get yourself prepared. And when you feel ready, jump on a tour. If you think, I want to see what this place is like, even if you've still got no intention for 5 or 10 years, it doesn't matter. If you are ready and you think, no, I'm doing this, this is what I need to be. I'm not saying go to Patreon so I can take 14 euros a month from you. I really am not doing it for that reason. If I was, I would put 114 or 240 with no intentions of doing that. It covers some costs. The nice Italian taxmen like to take quite a big chunk of that, but it covers some costs for us. But on Patreon, it goes to that next thing. There's a bit more personal thing. You do get some extra properties and you get some early properties and that kind of thing. But the tours as well, they're really important if you're not ready to remote buy. So the mixture between Patreon and tours are the way to go. But if you're not ready yet, just stay with us, keep with us. And to finish it off, what we were talking about mainly tonight, the Lean On Me service is back up and running. And we are really happy that Enrica's going to take over that. We're still going to be here as well. Myself, Silvana, and Enrica will work together on these where needed, really, because we need to have translators. We need to have power of attorneys if you don't want to come back. So between us, we'll work all this through. Okay, folks. I've been talking a lot tonight. I mean, I can tell. I'm ready for a drink. Water, though. Maybe. We'll see. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Thank you so much again for all your support and for joining us. We'll see you again next week. I can't remember which one it is next week, but it's either an Abruzzo one or a Meet the Home Buyers. So it's going to be all fun and love again next week. Have a fantastic time with your partner on Friday night. Remember to spoil him or her or him or whoever it is, because it's Lover's Day, isn't it, on Friday? There you go. May us be a prime example of lovers. On that note, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.